Concept of Law. This term, we are going to study the nature of law. In order to know the nature of anything, you have to define that thing first. We defined law in the first term, yes, but that definition is not accurate. It is general. In order to take or to get an accurate definition of law, we have to depend on the ideas of people. Because as we know, the definition of law is influenced by the ideas of people. It is impossible, of course, to go to every house and ask people about their ideas about law and how to define law. That is impossible. So what is the way out? The way out is to study the major juristic ideas in the world. We have the Islamic idea or the Islamic concept. We have the Christian concept. We have the Greek concept, the Roman concept, and so on, till we reach to an accurate definition of law. So we are going to begin with the Islamic concept of law. The Islamic concept of law. Yes. Unlike other religions, Islam has the character of a jural order. It means Islam included some rules of law in the Holy Quran. And the purpose of the rules is to regulate the life and thought of the believer through a number of revelations communicated to our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Okay? So, Islam, that is an important fact, Islam has the character of a jural order. Means Islam has the character, simit, of a jural order, نظام قضائي أو قانون. So as I have just said, in Islam, we have revelations communicated to our Prophet Muhammad to regulate the life and thought of the believers. According to the Islamic idea, we Muslims believe that only God knows the correct law. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ مِنَ اللَّهِ قِيلًا. You know that verse in the Holy Quran. So we believe that Allah and only Allah knows the best law. And according to Islam, we believe that law is a part of our faith, and we have to obey law, because the obedience of law means the obedience of the rules of our religions. Yes. And according to our idea, according to the Islamic concept of law, we believe that law preceded the existence of society and the state. in the West, they believe that when there is a society, there is a need for rules. And when there are rules, there should be a state to enforce the rules. So they existed in the following order. First, the society existed, then the law existed, and then the state existed to enforce the law. But we Muslims believe that law preceded both society and the state. Who can prove that fact? This is a fact. But how can we justify it? Can you tell me? I tell you what. Listen. The first law existed before the society, according to our belief. Yes. Do you know why? Because when Adam and Eve were in heaven, and when they did not obey the order of their Creator, they were punished. So there is law then before the existence of society, and there is law before the existence of a state. And now let us read what is included in our book. And I'd like you to pay much attention to the new terms. That is on page 21 in the old version and 25 in the new version. The religion of Islam. Have you found it? The religion of Islam. What is the meaning of religion? Religion. Yes? Deen. The religion of Islam has the character. What's the meaning of character? Character? Very good. Simon. The character of jural order. What's the meaning of jural order? نظام قضائي. Which regulates the life and thoughts of the believer. Which regulates. What's the meaning of regulate? تنظم, yes. The life and thoughts of the believer. What's the meaning of believer? Believer. المؤمن, yes. According to an ideal set. What's the meaning of set? What is the meaning of set? مجموعة of revelations communicated أرسلت أو أنزلت to our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the last of the prophets. The last of the prophets. Who of the last of the prophets? The last of the prophets. Very good. آخر الأنبياء أو خاتم الأنبياء. Thus Islam established its own order of right and wrong. Thus, هكذا, Islam established. What's the meaning of established? Established. أسس وقام. Very good. Its own order. What's the meaning of order? نظام. Good. Of right and wrong. Embodying. متضمنا its own justice. What's the meaning of its own justice? What's the meaning of justice? عدالة. Its own justice. عدالته الخاصة. As the correct and valid one. In this passage, we have two facts. The first one, Islam has the character of a jural order, and we have written it on the board. That is a fact. And it regulates the Islamic law regulates the life and thought of the believer. نظرية. In Islamic legal theory, only God, as the source of ultimate authority, has knowledge of the perfect law. That is what we believe. We Muslims believe that only God, what's of only God? Allah wahda, knows the best law or the perfect law. So that is another fact. That is another fact. Muslims say Allah, we should say Allah. Only Allah knows the perfect law. Yes. This law, the law which is led by Allah, the law which is made by Allah, the divine law. What's the meaning of divine? Divine, yes? Yes? Samawi, ilahi, yes, okay. The divine law originally, asasan, aslan, embodied in the Holy Quran, exists in a heavenly book, which is the Quran. In the same way, wasn't of same way, yes? In the same way, بنفس الطريقة, as natural law, wasn't of natural law, القانون الطبيعي, very good. As natural law was regarded, اعتبر in the West, in Europe, as the ideal مثالي legal system. What's the legal system? Very good. النظام القانوني. consisting of the general maxims, the general rules. What's the meaning of maxims? It means rules. What's the meaning of rules? Oh, yes. Of right and justice. So Islamic law is in the eyes of a Muslim the ideal legal system. Look, we have two types of law. The Islamic law in the Islamic world and the natural law in Europe. And in Europe, the natural law is regarded the best law. We Muslims believe that the Islamic law is the best law or is the perfect law. Okay? So we believe in Islamic law in the Islamic world. What do the Europeans believe in? They believe in what? They believe in natural law, which is really a positive law. It is made by man for man. It is made by man for man. So it is positive, وضعي. While we Muslims, we believe in the Islamic law, which is made by Allah to regulate the life and thought of the believer, and which is included in our Quran. As a divine law, it is regarded as the perfect, eternal, and just law. As a divine law. What's the meaning of divine law? Divine law, قانون سماوي, very good. As a divine law, we mean the Islamic law. Which one is a divine law, the Islamic law or the natural law? The Islamic law, of course. As a divine law, it is regarded, تعتبر as the perfect. We Muslims believe that it is perfect, كامل, eternal, خالد, and just. Just, what's the meaning of just? عادل. Designed for all time and characterized by universal application to all men. Look, we've got a fact here. It says that the Islamic law is designed for all times and for all places. Who can prove that? Who can prove that for me? It is a fact, yes, but give me the justification. Give me your proof. Give me your evidence. Is Islam suitable for all times and the places? Is it or not? Of course it is. Because Islam was found at the time of our Prophet Muhammad, and it is found now, and there is no problem in application. Islamic law was applied at the time of our Prophet Muhammad, and it is applied nowadays, and there is no problem. So it is suitable for all times. And it is suitable for all places, because Islam is applied here in Iraq, and there is no problem. And it is applied in China, and there is no problem. In Iraq, there is no problem. ماكو مشكلة. And in China, there is also no problem. So Islam is suitable for all times and the places. Okay? So let us record that fact. Is the life of a strict conformity with this law? We Muslims believe that the ideal life, حياة المثالية, is that life which is in strict conformity, that تطابق كامل with the Islamic law. And that is a fact indeed. We all know that if you are following the right path, if you are walking in the path of God, in the path of Allah, your life will be happy and you will never face any difficulty. But if you deviate from the Islamic norms, you will feel that your life is not happy. If not now, you will feel that after a period of time. In Muslim legal theory, the divine law preceded both society and the state. That is another fact. Law existed, the Islamic law existed before society and the state. So, preceded both society and the state. Okay? And you remember the example of Adam and Eve, you see? When they disobeyed their creator, and they were punished. So law existed before the existence of society and the state. At that time, there was no state, and there was no society. Only a man and his wife. You see? And there was law. So we Muslims believe that law preceded both society and the state. Okay? The state existed. The state, دولة, existed, ظهرت, for the purpose of, what's the meaning of for the purpose of? For the purpose of, لغرض, yes, of enforcing the law, تنفيذ القانون. But if the state fails, if the state, the الدولة, fails to enforce the law, if the state could not enforce the law, if it fails to enforce the law, in which case the state obviously forfeits its reason deter, the believer still remain under the obligation to observe the law even in the absence of anyone to enforce it. Look, this is the difference between our faith or our law, our Islamic law, and the other types of law. In natural law, in positive law, في القانون الوضعي, في القانون الطبيعي, the law is respected. The law is respected, القانون يحترم, when there is a state and when there is someone to observe, to see the enforcement of that law. Now, if you are driving your car in Najaf, for example, you are driving your car and you come to the traffic light and there is no policeman. If you are a believer, a real believer, إذا أنت مؤمن حقيقي, you observe the law. You do not violate the law. ما تنتهك القانون. But if your faith is weak, you will violate that law because there is no policeman. While in Islamic law, no, the believer, المؤمن, should respect law, يحترم القانون, even if there is no policeman. Why? Because it is a part of his faith. لأنه جزء من عقيدته. If we see that something is not allowed, it is haram, as we say in Arabic, we should respect that rule, because the source of that rule, لأنه منبع هذا القاعدة, is from the Holy Quran, which is from Allah. So we should observe the law. يجب أن نحترم القانون, نلاحظ القانون, even if there is no one to observe enforcing it. Okay? The sanction of the law, which is distinct from the validity of the law, need not exist, for the object of law is to provide for the believer the right path. You know the purpose of the Islamic law. The purpose is to lead the believer to the right path, to the path of Allah, يعني الهدف القانون الإسلامي is to lead أن تقود the believer المؤمن to the right path إلى السبيل القويم. Okay? Or the standard life, regardless of the existence of the proper authority charged with its enforcement. That is what we have said. It means it should be observed, it should be respected, the Islamic law should be respected and observed, whether there is someone charged with مسؤول عن the enforcement of law or not. That is enough for today, and I'd like you to read what we have read. Who wants to read right from the beginning, the Islamic concept of law? Yes, read please. Yes, you. Read. The Islamic concept of law. The Islamic concept of law. Good. The religion. All of you say religion. Yes, repeat after me. Religion. 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 Yes. Has the character. Yes, what's the meaning of character? Sima. Character. The first meaning of character, one of the senses, the meanings of character, shakhsiyya, but here it means sima, yes. Of a jural order. That is very important. You see, I have recorded it there. I have written it there. Islam has the character of a jural order. Suppose that in the exam I say, mention whether the following statements are true or false. So Islam has the character of a jural order. Is it true or false? True, of course, yes. Yes, regulates the life and thoughts of the believer. What's the believer? Mu'min. Believers, mu'mineen. Yes. Yes. According to an ideal, read, set of revelations communicated to Muhammad, our Prophet Muhammad, the last of the prophets. Yes. Yes, who wants to continue? Yes, please read. You. Who wants to read? Yes, read, please. Yes, thus Islam established its own order, right and wrong, embodying its own justice. And valid one. Okay, please try to read what we have read today silently and try to ask me questions about any difficulty. If there is a difficult word, a difficult statement, a difficult line, you can ask me now. Okay? Read it silently. If there is any difficult word, any difficult term, raise your hand and ask me. No difficulty? No difficult word? Okay, let me mark the absentees. That is enough for today. Let me mark the